Oba Femi faces Brock Lesnar, injuries that ruined WWE's plans. Drew McIntyre finally getting a huge push in WWE. Holland injury update. Dominik Mysterio makes a heartbreaking Rey Mysterio confession. A major heel breaks character. Becky Lynch takes credit for recent WWE Survivor Series. WarGames ricket surge. The WWE pushed into a corner with WarGames booking. Brock Lesnar's sacrificial lamb speaks out. Brock Lesnar's WrestleMania match will decide WWE's future. Let's dive right in. Injuries that ruined WWE's plans. Injuries have been one of the most cruel aspects of pro wrestling, and WWE is no exception. Amid this unpredictability, long-term creative planning is both an art and a gamble. WWE books its major storylines and matches months in advance. Yet no matter how carefully the roadmap is drawn, a single concussion or injury can bring the entire architecture crashing down. History shows that whenever a top star goes down with a serious injury, the company's best-laid plans always suffer. Well, fans have gotten several glimpses of it this year. As the company barrels toward the end of 2025, several prominent stars suffered unfortunate injuries. This has not only led them to be sidelined from television, but has also revoked several plans. Number 1. Jacob Fatu. On the October 17th edition of SmackDown, Jacob Fatu was written off television in dramatic fashion. WWE showed that a mysterious backstage attack left him bloodied under a collapsed steel truss, but reports stated a real-life dental procedure to be the reason behind Fatu's hiatus. Regardless of what it is, the injury has dealt a huge blow to the company's major plans. The Samoan werewolf was set to feud with Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. Triple H had plans to push him as a top-tier star in the main event scene. Besides, Jacob Fatu was also expected to compete in the men's WarGames match. However, his injury poured cold water on those plans, prompting the creative team to pivot. Number 2. Sheamus. WWE's 2025 has been a maelstrom of chaos, and Sheamus's untimely injury during the Last Time Is Now tournament has been another big hit the company took this month. The Celtic Warrior was abruptly sidelined from television and pulled out of the contest after advancing to the second round, forcing an immediate rewrite of John Cena's farewell. The creative team seemingly had plans to push the veteran a little further in the tournament. However, Sheamus's unfortunate injury has left a hollow in the quarterfinals. What was meant to be an exciting tournament suddenly became a patchwork of replacements. His exit not only robbed fans of a dream rematch, but also rippled through the tournament's structure. Number 3. Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins' catastrophic shoulder injury last month turned the company's meticulously crafted plans upside down. Fresh off his huge victory over Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel, the Visionary was at the top of the mountain. With the World Heavyweight Championship on his shoulder, he was supposed to dominate alongside his faction for the months to come. However, Rollins' injury came like a bolt from the blue, washing away the company's long-term plans. This wasn't just a personal setback. It triggered a domino effect that forced WWE to vacate the World Heavyweight title, accelerate Braun Breaker's betrayal, unravel the Vision's new chapter, and overhaul plans for Survivor Series WarGames. Number 4. WWE star Penta. This week on Raw, Penta sustained a shoulder injury during his quarterfinal match against Solo Sikoa in the Last Time Is Now tournament. His untimely injury has not only affected WWE, but also ruined the company's cross-promotional plans with Lucha Libre ADA worldwide. Almeida was slated for a December 20th ADA event in Guadalajara, reuniting with Rey Fenix to battle Dominik Mysterio and El Grande Americano. However, that is now a far-fetched scenario. The reunion of the Lucha Bros has been put on hold for an unforeseeable period, with plans for their match at Guerra de Titanes being potentially revoked. The company's major plans involving AAA are in shambles now. Penta's injury transcended the Stanford-based promotion, striking at the heart of a burgeoning global crossover. Drew McIntyre finally getting a huge push in WWE. Drew McIntyre has been in the limelight for a long time, but has not gotten that big push that WWE fans want for him. Now, more details have been revealed about plans in a Sportskeeda Wrestling exclusive. This author spoke to exclusive sources within WWE, who said that there was an overall feeling of disappointment for how things had played out with Seth Rollins getting injured, and how that affected the story with him and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. The feeling was that the plan that was in place for them has been affected in a big way as a result. Having Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre help with the story now has been a big thing, but the original plan would have helped everyone concerned. There are a lot of those backstage disappointed for Seth and Braun and Bronson. They had a clear plan in place for them, but it all fell through because of that injury. Now they have Brock in, and he's always great to just be the focus of a big story, and Drew being who he is helps as well. As for Drew McIntyre, there has been talk of a big push for the Scottish psychopath as well. This author was informed that there were plans to give him a huge push that might have ended with the title run that fans wanted for him. However, with so many plans changing thanks to the injuries, everything has been made very uncertain. There has been talk of a big push for Drew as well. Right now, there's just a lot of plans coming together, making it very uncertain. In what should not be a surprise to anyone, McIntyre is well loved backstage. This author learnt that he is looked upon fondly by large parts of the locker room, and has become somewhat of a leader backstage. He has been seen as someone who does whatever it takes to tell a story as well. Holland injury update. Things have gone from bad to worse for former WWE star Holland, who now goes by his real name, Luke Menzies. Holland shared an update on his condition after getting released in early November. The former member of the Brawling Brutes in Chase University went through a lot over the past 2 months or so. He suffered a Lisfranc injury during a match at TNA Wrestling while under contract with WWE in late September. He underwent surgery on his left foot before finding out that his contract wasn't getting renewed. His contract was terminated early after he expressed his views on how the company has treated him on social media. To make things worse, Ridge Holland found out that he had to undergo neck fusion surgery. In a post on Instagram, Holland gave an update on his condition just a few days after a successful neck fusion. He still remained thankful and is looking forward to his future, depending on how his recovery will be. The past couple months have been interesting to say the least. The future looks bright if I squint hard enough. It's crazy how the human body can be so delicate but so resilient at the same time. After each injury, I've always learned something about myself. I think this may be the biggest lesson yet. Be seeing ya, Holland wrote. For those wondering, Ridge Holland did confirm that WWE paid for his neck fusion surgery. Holland made headlines after a GoFundMe was set up to help him and his family after getting released. Despite his tweet about how WWE treated him amid his release, Ridge Holland shared on his first video on his YouTube channel that his time with the company was wonderful. There were a lot of positives and only a handful of negatives. Holland admitted that his tweet disparaging WWE was out of frustration and would have never done it if given the choice. He needed an outlet to vent, but he did it the wrong way. Nevertheless, he was still grateful to the company that took a chance on him and signed him for 7 years. Dominik Mysterio makes a heartbreaking Rey Mysterio confession. WWE superstar Dominik Mysterio recently made a heartbreaking confession about his father, Rey Mysterio. The self-proclaimed king of the luchadores will be in action at Survivor Series WarGames. After dropping the Intercontinental Championship to John Cena, Dirty Dom challenged the Chain Gang Soldier to a rematch. Cena accepted the challenge, and their bout was made official for Survivor Series WarGames on November 29th. Many expect the 17-time world champion to put over Dominik in his final WWE Premium Live event as an in-ring competitor. Ahead of this much-anticipated clash, WWE recently uploaded an interview with Dominik on YouTube, titled Dominik Mysterio on channeling Eddie Guerrero's legacy. In the clip, Dirty Dom revealed that he saw his father, Rey Mysterio, cry for the first time when the late legend Eddie Guerrero passed away. The Judgment Day star added that he felt Eddie was the best version of himself during the custody of Dominik Mysterio storyline in 2005. When Eddie Guerrero passed, that was the first time I saw my dad cry. I know Eddie had a rough past, and I know he struggled with a lot of stuff in the past, addictions and stuff like that he's dealt with. I know when he was doing the angles with me, he was like the best version of himself, he said. During the same interview uploaded on WWE's YouTube, Dominik Mysterio revealed that he got scared when he got involved in Eddie Guerrero's match against Rey Mysterio at SummerSlam 2005 because of the late legend's intensity. However, looking back at Eddie's performance as a pro wrestler himself, Dirty Dom now realizes what an incredible performer he was. I look up, and there's Eddie standing over me just waving his finger. Fear is the only thing in my mind, and just cause of his intensity, man. And now, seeing it as a wrestler and being a performer, and I'm like, he was so good. Since turning heel, Dominik Mysterio has been referring to Eddie Guerrero as his real father instead of Rey Mysterio. Dom is also carrying forward the late legend's legacy in the Stamford-based promotion with his current gimmick. A major heel breaks character. A popular WWE heel recently broke his on-screen character to praise his wrestling peer, Javon Evans, who was labeled the future of the pro wrestling business by John Cena. The heel in question is Ethan Page. On the latest edition of NXT, John Cena appeared in a pre-taped segment to announce the competitors for the men's and women's Iron Survivor Challenge. Cena revealed that Javon Evans, Leon Slater, Miles Bourne, Dion Lennox, and Joe Hendry will compete in the men's match. The GOAT also labeled Evans and Slater the future of the wrestling business, saying that they were way ahead of their time and fun to watch. When you talk about the future of this business, no two names come to mind faster than Javon Evans and Leon Slater from TNA, a pair of 21-year-olds who are way ahead of their time, fun to watch, and look to big things at the road ahead, Cena said. During a recent edition of Getting Over Wrestling podcast, Ethan Page broke his on-screen heel persona to praise Javon Evans. He said that the star doesn't lose his true self, even when he competes inside the squared circle. All Ego added that he believed WWE should sign Evans to a 15-year contract as the latter had unlimited potential. He's just himself. That is one thing that took me so long to figure out, is essentially just be as genuine as possible. As much as I hate the kid, he is who he is. No one is going to change him. When he performs, that's as genuine of a Javon as you're going to get. He has an unlimited ceiling, and I hope the WWE has signed him to a 15-year contract, he said. It remains to be seen what Shawn Michaels has planned for Javon Evans in the Men's Iron Survivor Challenge. Becky Lynch takes credit for recent WWE Survivor Series WarGames ricket surge. Becky Lynch is full of bravado, and WWE is going through a booming period in the company's history. Those two facts have intercepted in a Venn diagram that resulted in a superb post from the man. Becky Lynch saw a post from Ringside News where we covered how WWE Survivor Series WarGames tickets have surged in recent memory. Of course, Becky Lynch was a late addition to the women's WarGames match. The man was quick to take credit for WWE's recent surge in popularity. It all adds up timing-wise, so Becky Lynch was happy to connect the dots for fans. Ratings up! Subscriptions up! Tickets up! You should be thanking me? Becky is best for business. What do I get instead? A corrupt referee, Carr, a dishonest and double-dealing general manager, Pierce, a lunatic, AJ, unlawfully interfering in a championship match, match? I will make them all pay on Saturday. Becky Lynch and AJ Lee seem to be destined for a women's IC title match. Only time will tell how it turns out, but odds are Lynch will keep feeling like she's on top of the mountain no matter what happens. WWE Survivor Series is going down on Saturday, and Ringside News will have full coverage. Petco Park in San Diego, California will be packed full of fans, and odds are a ton of them are there to see Becky Lynch. What's your take on Becky Lynch's post? What do you think caused the recent Survivor Series WarGames ticket surge? The WWE pushed into a corner with WarGames booking. Former WWE manager Jim Cornette is struggling to pick winners of the men's WarGames match. The wrestling veteran was reviewing this week's Survivor Series PLE. It will be an all-star WarGames match as CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and the Usos take on Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, and Brock Lesnar. During this week's Jim Cornette's drive-thru, the veteran manager detailed that it was a hard match to call because of the numerous possibilities. He felt there was no clear favorite in the match. He noted that if the babyfaces lost, either Jimmy or Jey Uso would have to take the pin, which would diminish their credibility further. This one is hard to call because you have a situation where you'd have to struggle which team to put over because of various reasons, and this is not a culmination of a long program amongst everybody. Brock has dropped in like twice, right? Otherwise, it has been an ongoing thing with him. If somebody was going to lose on the babyface side, you'd think it would be one of the Usos, which is why you probably shouldn't do that. Everybody will think they'd just end up being flunkies. Cornette added that WWE didn't have a viable choice on the heel side either to take the pin. But then, who does the job on the heel side? It would probably come down to Bronson Reed, who's part of a package they're trying to push regularly. You don't want to beat Drew McIntyre again after he's been beaten so many times already. This ain't the time to beat Brock. It depends on how they feel about Logan Paul. So, this one is up in the air. This past Monday night on Raw, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns were part of the opening segment. The three megastars struggled to come to terms with their differences. However, the three men decided to form a loose alliance at WarGames because of their shared hate for the Vision. The two groups even had a confrontation at the end of WWE Raw, leading to an all-out brawl to close the show. Brock Lesnar's Sacrificial Lamb speaks out. Brock Lesnar made the call to sacrifice one of his WarGames teammates this past Monday on WWE Raw. The teammate has now opened up about the incident after being laid out by Team CM Punk. The men's WarGames match will feature Team CM Punk, including Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and the Usos, in action against Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. On Instagram, Paul, who was made to be a sacrificial lamb by his team on Raw, finally addressed the situation. The Maverick didn't appreciate taking finishers from Punk, Rhodes, and Reigns, whose spear he described as the one that hurt the most. We gotta talk about what happened here on Monday Night Raw. I became like essentially a sacrificial lamb and proceeded to take everyone's finisher, with Roman's spear obviously being the worst one, and as your humble king, I can admit, I got throttled. When Brock said go, I was ready to go. I said, let's go. I thought we were gonna whoop some as a team. Apparently in wrestling it's supposed to be a punk out like one of those, but I didn't know that. But the worst part of it all, my God, they poured Prime. No, they wasted so much Prime, said Paul. Eric Bischoff spoke about Brock Lesnar's current role in WWE, stating that he's in the same category as The Undertaker. Speaking with the Action Network, Bischoff called Lesnar an attraction and also drew parallels with Hulk Hogan. He stated that attractions in professional wrestling have always worked. Bischoff said, Brock Lesnar is now in that Undertaker category. He's an attraction. And I think attractions have always worked. Hulk Hogan was an attraction for a long time. Undertaker, clearly an attraction. I think Brock's role as an attraction is a solid one. I think it's a valuable one. I think that we'll see Brock throughout the year, a couple of times a year, similar to what we would expect to see The Undertaker for the next couple of years. Lesnar will step into WarGames in hopes of walking out with a win for the heels. Brock Lesnar's WrestleMania match will decide WWE's future. The Beast incarnate Brock Lesnar may have one of the most important matches at WrestleMania 42. An exclusive by Sportskeeda Wrestling has shed some light on the matter. This author was informed by exclusive sources within WWE that the Royal Rumble picture for 2026 had a few names in place for those they thought of as potential winners. One name in particular is seen as a favorite in this situation, should plans not change, but with stars getting injured and plans changing around, that has not been the case fully. The Royal Rumble picture has a few names in place, and there's a clear idea again as to who wins, but given how things have been going, there could be changes as well. For Brock Lesnar, the plans surrounding WrestleMania are apparently huge. The star, who has been part of the WrestleMania ads in a big way this year, is apparently seen as one of the biggest focuses of the event. The sources informed this author that he would be a huge factor, and should things go according to plan, then his opponent and his match could end up shaping the future of WWE for a long time. As for Brock, he's a huge factor for WrestleMania this time. You never know how it plays out, but if things go as they should, his feud could help the future of the company quite a bit. While there were no more specifics revealed, this seems to indicate that he may be facing a star that is seen as the future of the company. This is mere speculation though, as the star he faces could be a bigger name as well, and the result of the match could affect the future of the company in a different way. Gunther, Braun Breaker, Solo Sikoa would all make for interesting opponents in the Stars match at WrestleMania. Oba Femi faces Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar has always been portrayed as one of the most dominant stars in WWE. He is set to compete in the men's WarGames match this weekend at Survivor Series with the Team Vision. The Beast always comes back around major WWE shows and is advertised for big matches. The Conqueror has already been featured on the poster for next year's WrestleMania in Las Vegas. It's obvious that the multi-time world champion will compete at the event. There is a good chance that WWE will book a young star to face Lesnar at the grandest stage of them all. Whoever faces Lesnar at next year's WrestleMania will also eventually become a major star in the company. The ruler has been one of the most dominant figures on NXT in recent years. He has constantly destroyed his opponents on the developmental status and is feared among a lot of stars even on the main roster. Oba Femi could make his main roster debut in next year's Men's Royal Rumble and have a face-off with Lesnar during the match. He could get eliminated by the Beast and come out on next week's Raw to kickstart a feud with him. WWE has already portrayed Femi as one of the company's future faces. He could achieve that status even faster if he faces Lesnar at WrestleMania. Braun Breaker is feared on Monday nights due to his vicious spear that cuts his opponents in half. The same move has been used by stars like Roman Reigns and Goldberg, who have beaten Brock Lesnar in singles matches in the past. Breaker and Lesnar are set to compete for the same team in the men's WarGames match this weekend. The two could have certain tension brewing during the match despite being on the same team. It could lead to Breaker spearing Lesnar unintentionally during the match. Heyman could try to have both men coexist before one turns on the other, leading to their big match at Mania next year. This storyline, if done well, could solidify Braun Breaker as the next big thing in WWE. Despite being one of the most talented stars on the WWE roster, the ring general hasn't been very lucky at WrestleMania for the past few years. He has lost championship matches at 2 consecutive Manias against stars like Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. He seems like he's regaining momentum as he's potentially going to win the Last Time Is Now tournament and retire John Cena. If Gunther actually faces the last real champion in his last match, it wouldn't make sense if his next WrestleMania match doesn't have high stakes. Following his bout with Cena, the ring general could start going after Brock Lesnar and challenge him to a match at Mania with Lesnar's career on the line. If Gunther actually beats Brock Lesnar and retires him at Mania, he will be booked as one of the biggest stars in the company's history.